Good dog, Tiger. Look at everybody. Who's a good dog? What's up, everybody? Trey Griggs here, Beta Consulting Group. And if you were here for the beginning, that's Tiger. That's my boy Tiger down there, the dog. Welcome to episode 75 of Standing Out, a daily podcast about sales, marketing, and leadership powered by Beta Consulting Group. Do me a favor if you haven't yet, go visit us at betaconsultinggroup.com. See what we're doing to help companies with their branding, their messaging, their content creation. We're helping companies with their social media strategy, content, and posting. We're helping companies start podcasts and a lot of just great avenues to tell their story. That's what we're all about here at Beta Consulting Group. Our mission statement is to glorify God and make much of Him while helping each client build their brand. We'd love to work with you. So fill out a form and we'll be glad to follow up with that and see how we can help you out. Also, a quick shout out to our sponsor, TAS. These are the good guys in freight factoring. They're helping carriers, owner operators to make sure they have all the resources that they need to stay on the road, especially in these days where rates are going down and fuel prices just keep going up. They're making sure that carriers have what they need for fuel discounts and tire discounts and small business loans and whatever they need, insurance needs and all that. So check them out at task.com or click the link that's going to be in the comments today that Morgan Walters is going to put in that goes directly to our landing page so they know that I sent you to them. Get started with those guys. They'll be glad to help you out. They're all about helping carriers grow. That's the only way that they grow as a company is when they help carriers grow, and they're all about educating the carriers, and I love that. If you're a freight broker and you've got carriers that are moving freight for you, you can become a referral partner by clicking on the same link, and that way your carriers have all the resources they need to keep moving your freight out on the road. So check them out today and make sure you tell them that Trey sent you. We've had a great week of shows so far. Yesterday, we called a little bit of an audible. We had my good friends Matt Leffler and Chris Horton on the show. That was one of my favorite shows so far of all the ones we've done. So make sure you check that one out. A lot of great content came out of that. Just some good guys to talk to. Today, I got my good friend Michael Meyers on the program. We're going to talk about what he's doing in Chicago. Tomorrow, my good friend Shannon Breen, the co-CEO and founder of Freightvana, will be right back here on the show. We're going to be talking about servant leadership. Can't wait to talk about that. On Thursday, my good friend Brandon Bay, the big boy from down in Houston, the VP of Corporate Strategy and Marketing at LGI, is going to be on the show. A good friend of mine. We're going to talk about branding and messaging and some of the things that he's done to turn LGI into more of a household name within transportation. And then finally on Friday, my golfing buddy here in St. Louis, my good friend Brian Obashan from Art Express is going to be on the show. We're going to be talking about what he's got going on over there, building that freight brokerage that he's got over there. So it's going to be a great week of shows. Make sure you come back every day at 10:30 a.m. Central for another episode. And a quick update, we've got coming up soon, we've got our Iron Minds Tough Mudder Charity Challenge coming up. October 29th down in Dallas, Texas. And we are about to launch more information about that in regards to the organization that we're helping, which is Suk Strong. They help ALS patients who are in, end of life situations with all the resources they need for those services, many of which are not provided by insurance. So we're going to be raising money for them. We've got a link coming. We want to build the team. We got 5 people signed up for the event now. We'd love to get a team of 15 to 20 guys who are willing to go do 9 miles and 30 obstacles. And we're looking to raise $10,000 for this organization, Suk Strong, to help ALS patients. So a lot of good information coming soon on that. Keep your eyes open for that. We'll be promoting that here on Standing Out. We'll promote it on the Word on the Street on Friday and on our Monday show, Iron Minds with Hayden Allred. All right, everybody, that's enough announcements for today. Let's get to the guests. I got a really good friend, a new friend of mine, actually, on the show today, who I met about a month and a half ago. And we've had a chance to talk a little bit about what he does and connect a few more times since then. So I'm very excited to bring on my good friend from World Business Chicago. Everybody give it up for Michael Meyers. Michael, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Great, Trey. Good morning. Thank you for having me, man.
I know, man. Good to have you on the show. It seems like I feel like we've known each other a lot longer than like 5 or 6 weeks, but it's only been 5 or 6 weeks since we met. Before we talk about that, though, for people who don't know who you are, who are watching the show, why don't you take 30 seconds or so and talk about who you are and what you're doing at World Business Chicago?
Fantastic. Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Meyers. I'm the Director of Business Development here at World Business Chicago. Here at World Business Chicago, our mission is to drive inclusive economic and development Job creation, support business, and promote Chicago as a leader global city, assist existing local companies with expansion, and help new market entrants connect, assimilate, and get positioned for success here in Chicago. In my role here in Chicago, I promote the transportation and distribution and logistics companies. The ones here in Chicago, the great ones that we've had here for years, I help support and grow those companies. But we also look to bring some of the stronger logistic companies and startups here that want to base themselves in the home of transportation, that is Chicago, Illinois. So that's what I do. I just try to, like a concierge for the transportation and distribution logistics industries. If there's anything that you need to help your business grow or sustain what's going on in the market today, you reach out to us and we'll try to do what we can to help you.
Yeah, Chicago is definitely a hub of transportation, and as you're calling it, the home of transportation. There might be some within the community, though, that would argue that. I know our friends at Freightwaves, think that Chattanooga and Freight Alley is really kind of the home of freight, but Chicago for sure has some phenomenal companies that have been there a long time that have really kind of established the market. Echo being there, Arrive is there, Echo Logistics or Edge Logistics. There's several great companies that are right there. There's also a lot of great tech companies in logistics right there. P44 is there, and many others that are right there in Chicago as well, doing some really fabulous work. So let's talk a little bit about how we connected before we get started into what World Business Chicago is up to. Somehow we ran into each other down at Freightways. How did you get to Freightways, the future supply chain, down in Little Rogers, Arkansas? How'd you find that?
Crazy. I, in my role, I joined World Business Chicago back in July of 2021. And in my role, I'm focused on growing this ecosystem here. So I really want to attract as many logistics companies here, many supply chain companies here, and started watching Freightwaves and watching your show here on LinkedIn and just catching some of these companies popping up and seeing that they were really active with Freightwaves, and saw that the conference was going on. And I wanted to introduce myself to some of these companies I haven't spoken with before. And I also saw a lot of Chicago companies were going to be attending. So I figured I better be down there to try to represent Chicago a little bit better. And not only that, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, never been to Bentonville, Arkansas, home of Walmart. So I looked at it as an opportunity to go to one of the great American cities I haven't been to yet. And actually, I really enjoyed the trip, man. It was great to see what they're doing down in Bentonville, see another logistics hub. And I just went to network and just let everybody know what we're doing here in Chicago and try to give them a little bit more faith in wanting to bring their businesses here. I got to see that you were going to be at the Lean Solutions party and just wanted to pick your brain a little bit to see, how you got involved in this. And it was just great having that conversation with you, man, and learning how you move within the industry and the connections that you had. And it's kind of inspirational, to be honest with you, because you didn't enter it in a typical way.
I appreciate that. But you definitely made your rounds down in Fayetteville for sure. Did you get a chance to go to the Walmart kind of headquarters and see that, or JB Hunt, or anything else?
I didn't, and so I got to make a second trip down. I was super busy meeting people at the conference, so I did want to get out. I mean, it was a pretty quick conference. We packed a lot in 2 days, and I really want to get down there and take the kiddos and kind of do a tour of Bentonville, because it seemed like they've got a lot of nature stuff down there and a lot of artwork and things that I would like to check out.
Yeah, Northwest Arkansas is a kind of a hidden gem. A lot of people don't really realize how awesome it is. But we met we connected in person for the first time at the Lean Solutions Group customer, client prospect event at the distillery, which was a pretty cool facility. I'd never been to that, but it was a pretty great party. How'd you sneak your way into that? How'd you get?
Wow, that's it is. And I did actually sneak my way. No, I didn't. I was just talking to the Lean Solution guys, and I cannot remember. Someone mentioned that they were having a party, and I said, "Well, I didn't receive an invitation to that party, fellas. What's going on here?"
No, they're great.
So
guys
they just
over
made
there. Yeah, you're probably talking to Hunter, Nick, or Ryan Bell, or one of those guys over there. Just a great sales team over at Lean. So no, I know you didn't sneak in, but I had to give you a hard time because I was not expecting you to show up there. But we had a good chance to chat a little bit about what you do and the companies that you're trying to work with in Chicago to really help them out. And to do that. So let's transition for a little bit and talk about World Business Chicago. When you guys think about, the relationship between, public entities like the city of Chicago and private companies like the freight brokerages and tech companies that are in Chicago, what are some of the goals that you guys are trying to accomplish in the work that you're doing with these companies down in Chicago?
Gotcha. Our overall vision is to make Chicago the most business-friendly city in the world, by becoming a role model for inclusive economic growth, ensuring that all Chicagoans prosper through equitable economic development. We are the economic development arm of the city, so we support the mayor's recovery agenda, whichever mayor is in office at the time. We are a private partner, non-partnership, nonprofit that exists outside of the confines of the city structure. So we don't work for the city necessarily, but we do support the city and their economic development efforts. And so companies like, let's say a friendly company, Chicago company, Valkyrie, for instance, they're a drone company here in the city that is looking to start, drone test beds here. And I've been working closely with Ryan Walsh at Valkyrie to do that. There's different aspects of making that happen and introducing the companies to different administrators within the city, grant opportunities in order to get it launched, site selection processes to make sure it's safe and effective when we get it going. So these are the types of things that we try to help support businesses in doing.
Yeah, so you're connecting with all the companies, basically just find out what they need, what's going to help them attract talent, what's going to help them grow their companies, how they can work best with the city. And again, I love the fact that you're nonpartisan. You're working with whoever's in the office,
That's
which I
right.
think is really critical. That it's not somebody necessarily from the office who's selected by that person in the office, but it's a company that is partnering outside of that. That can be a little bit more not unbiased in terms of how they're
Correct.
working with companies and what they're doing to make that relationship stronger.
Correct. And that is our role to connect with the companies, understand what it is that they need, what's either keeping them from being able to grow to where they want to be, or what good things are happening in order to help that are supporting their growth, and try to maximize those opportunities, and take that information and send it back to the city and let them know this is what we got to get going here. We got to support these companies in these different ways. They want to move to this area. We need to help them find a site that makes sense for them. They want to build a workforce. We got to get some training programs up for these kids around the city that are going to be ready for these jobs when they come online. So we try to work hand in hand with these different industries here in the city. And like, again, mine is transportation and logistics. We focus in other areas as well. We've got manufacturing that we focus on. We also focus on the healthcare facilities. We focus on food and agriculture, fintech. So we try to cover the gamut.
Now, are you guys asking, these companies, hey, what kind of skills are needed for employees in your sector, and then going back to communities and trying to get people involved in training programs, or how does that correlate into actual support for the companies in that type of a situation?
We do. Chicago is blessed to have many support organizations around workforce development, and we try to align ourselves with those support organizations. And once we learn what these companies need as far as growing their workforce, we'll align them with that particular workforce development group, and we'll work with that group to try to create some programming that further supports the company. We also connect the companies with the university system so that they can get some curriculum aligned with what will prepare the students the best to get them in a position to maximize their opportunities once they get to these jobs.
Yeah, and supply chain, a lot of the jobs in supply chain don't necessarily need a college degree in order to be
Yeah.
successful. Are you guys also partnering with the high schools to, talk to students about these jobs that are right in Chicago and the skills that they might need to be successful, looking at internships or apprenticeships? How much are you guys working with, the school system, the high schools in Chicago to help out with that?
We do. We again through our community impact team, we get involved with those support groups that go into these high schools, and we do exactly that, Trey. We try to expose them to these different opportunities that are out here because many times kids don't even know that these supply chain and logistics jobs exist. I
Right.
didn't,
Not
growing
until the
up. I kind of
pandemic. A lot of us
not till the
didn't.
pandemic. No, we didn't. And so you're falling into these jobs. And I found that meeting at the people at Freightways, a lot of people just ended up in these positions by circumstance, happenstance. They were a whole other industry. They lost a job or saw something interesting in that logistics job and said, I'm gonna take a shot at that and see if I like it. And that's how it's been in the past. But I see a little bit more focus-driven effort by students nowadays through programming at schools, through STEM programming in the high school system. And yet we do go beyond uh, the call of duty, I would say, to go down and try to get in contact with these kids to expose them to these different jobs that are going to be coming online.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if you guys ever have job fairs or you have, recruiting where some of these companies can go into the high schools and talk about the jobs that they have available, entry level positions, see who might want to do that because college isn't for everybody. It's
It's
not
not.
not the route for everybody. Do you guys ever partner with companies to create job fairs and or recruiting just to go into the high schools or colleges to say, hey, these companies are looking for talent. Here's what they're looking for.
We do again through our community impact and through our venture team. We have something called Think Chicago, where we partner with local colleges, preferably city colleges of Chicago, is when we go through the most. And they have many trade jobs and jobs that people again don't need a college degree that they are helping people build their skills around. You can enter right out of high school. So you can enter. You don't even have to have a high school degree to take many of these programs and get your certificates and get qualified for them. And what
Yeah,
we do is we'll get a CEO. Let's say Will Kerr from Edge. He's participated in Think
great
Chicago.
guy. Yeah,
Great
very
guy.
cool.
We'll have Will sit in front of some students, present his story, and open it up for a round of question and answers. And the students can bounce questions off of him and learn how he got to where he is and see what it takes to get to where he is and to work for his company eventually.
Yeah, that's cool. I think it's great that you're partnering with companies, especially like what Will's doing and other companies in the area to bring exposure to supply chain as an option. Moving forward, which is I think great because there's so many opportunities and it's not going anywhere. It's going to be around. Everything continues to move on truck or train or a little bit of both. And so I think that's awesome that you're doing that. Now you're not from Chicago. You're from Atlanta. What is the best part about living in Chicago, especially for a
Wow.
transplant?
Where do I start? I'm from Atlanta. I went to college in Massachusetts and I've spent a few years out in LA. And I think that Chicago offers the best mix of every part of America, to be honest with you. It is the ultimate melting pot of cultures for Chicago, for the country. Um, we have four seasons. I know people complain about the weather, but I really believe that we have four
Four distinct
seasons.
seasons. I'm in St.
That's
Louis,
right.
so I know. That's right. You get a
We've
little bit of
got
everything.
great food. Not a lot of stuff to do for nature. We've got the lake. We go hiking outside. I mean, I love the people, the energy. Chicago is a work hard, play hard city. We really know what it takes to get things done, but we're not so driven that we're driving ourselves crazy like I see people do in New York. I think you're not
Get a
just a
little bit of the
number.
Midwest values, right?
That's right, right, right. You're not just a
Yeah.
number, you're a person. And Chicago is just it's just a welcoming place. I go other places, man. I just cannot wait to get back. The history, the culture, the city's beautiful. We really take care of each other. If you've been here recently, the streets are gorgeous. Even in the wintertime, we make sure that we plow our streets and keep things smooth for the
Have to,
companies
right? Too
and
much
people
snow.
going. Right, too much snow.
I'm
You know,
always amazed at how Lake Michigan looks like the ocean. It just never, it's so
blew
big
my
that if
mind.
you feel like you're looking at an ocean, which is amazing to have right here in the Midwest. And I'm going to say something controversial. I'm from St. Louis, but I will
Mhm.
say that Chicago pizza is the best. It's to me is better than St. Louis pizza, no doubt. St. Louis
Really, and
pizza is
St.
real
Louis pizza is pretty
thin.
good.
It's just I don't like the thin. I like the thick. I like the
Oh, really?
sauce, on top. I like the thick pizza. So I'm more of a fan of Chicago pizza. So those
So
that are
you like
watching from
deep dish?
Chicago, I like deep dish without a doubt. Yeah, I like deep
Mm,
dish, thick crust. I don't know, I'm a bread
okay.
kind of guy. I'm a sauce kind
Oh,
of guy.
I'm a sauce guy, but
That's
I
where I'm at.
like thin crust. I like thin crust Italian.
Mm,
Crispy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad, but like I don't like the cheese they use. I'm just if I had a choice, if you put two pizzas in front of me, Chicago deep dish and St. Louis thin crust, I'm going Chicago deep dish just about every time unless there's anchovies on it. I'm going for it.
There
So
we go. There
that's
we go.
that's my spot. Now I have to ask you about your voice, man. You got the silky smooth voice. Have you ever done radio or TV or anything like that?
Yeah, I did do radio in college, Trey. That was a long time ago, between like '94 and '98. I was an urban music director in college and really enjoyed it. It opened my eyes to the music industry. I was able to meet a lot of artists and travel to different music conferences. But yeah, I love being on the microphone. I like being at parties, hosting. Um,
Yeah.
it's fun. It's
So
fun.
what happened with that? Why didn't you go down that path? I'm curious.
Well, like I said, I graduated in '98. I didn't. I was an accounting major, then a social major, and I wasn't really focused on media and understanding how to monetize my opportunity. Um, I was monetizing in college, but, through parties and DJ, but I didn't see that as a sustainable future to raise a family off of. And
Yeah.
I moved back to Atlanta, and people hadn't heard me on the radio before. Nobody knew who I was, so I would have had to start doing radio remotes, and I just couldn't afford to do it for free. It wasn't like today. And if I had some foresight, I probably would have stuck through it. Seeing that the different opportunities there are through media today, but things happen for a reason, and I think things like this podcast that you're doing are ways that people like you and I can maximize those opportunities and
Yeah, I mean
enjoy it.
everything does. Yeah, everything definitely happens for a reason. I had a radio show in college, and I broadcast football and basketball games on the radio as well. And I'm the same way. I just couldn't see. I didn't have that vision
Right.
for being Marv Albert or Jim Nance, or if one of these guys is broadcasting, Joe Buck, broadcasting games on the radio and that kind of thing. But it is nice to be able to use these skills now, and to have a good conversation and talk about what's happening with you guys up in Chicago. But yeah, the silky smooth voice, man, I could totally hear you on like a late night radio program or something like that.
Well, maybe one day I can get back. Maybe.
You never know. Maybe part-time you can get into that, but no, that's really cool. All right. So how did you get into being a part of the transportation side of World Business Chicago? Did you have history in that, or is that kind of something new they threw to you? And talk a little bit about how you got into that.
I do. I started working. I'm from Atlanta. Both my parents worked for the airlines. My dad retired from Delta. My mom, God rest her soul, she worked for Eastern Airlines and some travel agencies.
Eastern, back in the day.
Back in the day, Eastern folded. It was hard on the city, I tell you.
I'm sure. TWA in St. Louis, same thing, right? This was the one for
exactly.
TWA back in the day. Yeah. So I feel that.
So I came home. My mother was, dealing with cancer. So I came home after college, and she worked for Home Depot's corporate flight department. And I actually got a job at the corporate flight department as a scheduler and a dispatcher, which exposed me to a whole area of aviation I'd never seen before, private aviation. And I worked there for a few years, moved out to LA, worked for a charter company out there, and just worked in aviation. And then I worked for a college doing ops and logistics for the college, and a startup similar to Grubhub, doing ops and logistics for this, delivery service. And then I have a master's in urban planning and economic development. So this job is kind of tying all of those skills and areas of focus together, and trying to maximize them for the companies here in the city to help them grow.
Yeah, a little supply chain, a little urban development, all kind of coming together,
Exactly.
Which is great. Now, when you went home to be with your mom when she was going through cancer, what are some things you learned going back home and being with your family at that time in your life?
Wow, that's a great question, Trey. It's important to diversify your skills and stay focused. Stay in contact with the people at home. If you're not at home in school, stay in contact with the people at home and stay engaged, so that if you do have to go back home in emergency, you have something to do. Go back.
Yeah, I have some contacts back there.
Yeah, but no, it was a great time, to be honest. It was hard, definitely, but it gave me some time to focus on, what my next moves would be in life. And I really didn't know what I wanted to do coming out of college. I just had no idea what a sociology major. What was I going to do in Atlanta, Georgia with a sociology major?
They sell you those degrees, but they don't tell you what to do with them.
No, they don't. So that's some advice I would give these students that are in school nowadays. I've taught here at Harold Washington College, some local city college or school, and would tell the students, focus on your education, stay in school, get, if you can. It's not for everyone, like you said, but if you can, take advantage of it and have some short-term goals in mind. If you don't know what you want to do long-term, have some short-term goals and just keep doing the right thing along the way, so that when those opportunities do present themselves, you're prepared for them.
Yeah, I think it's important for college students, if they're in college, to try to have a plan of, hey, what am I going to do? Especially by their junior and senior year, like start doing internships and working with companies and figuring out what they're going to do. But I also heard this, one of the biggest values of college is the fact that you're on campus with 5,000 other people, 10,000 other people, and networking is where it's really at for college. Like meet as many people as you can, create those contacts, excuse me, so that when you get out of school, you've got all these connections, because at the end of the day, it's still not what you know, it's who you know. It's who you know. And so if you're in college, try to have a plan, try some things out, see what's out there. Go to job fairs, talk to people, but most importantly, the people that you're with at school, network with them, because they're the kind of people that you could partner with in business someday. You might work for them. They might come to work for you if you own a business, whatever it might be. But having those connections is like a built-in network right there in
That's
college.
right.
And to me, that's the value of college. If you go, is learn as much as you can, of course, but you can learn on YouTube. You can learn at the local
Exactly.
library, but you can't make those those connections
That's right.
unless you're in a group. And so to me, that's the value of college. If people use it right, is building a network before they get out into the workforce, and then leveraging that later on for their career, whether be getting a job, needing somebody to work for you, making strategic partnerships, or whatever it might be. I think that's the real value of that, which is cool. My dad passed away in 2005. It's been 17 years, hard to believe.
Oh, man,
And he had cancer as well. And I remember when the thing that I kind of took out of that more than anything was to really appreciate people, especially the people that are contributing to my success, but to appreciate people. My dad was a single dad. He came home every night after driving a box truck in Kansas City, Missouri. He's a local truck driver, and he came home every night and he made me a warm meal. And sometimes that warm meal was hot dogs. It wasn't like gourmet, but he did it. And I don't know too many single parents. I mean, it's hard, right? Being a single parent, I can't even imagine. I don't know too many parents that would come home and do that. And I didn't appreciate it at the time. I took it for granted. And I remember when he passed away, just thinking, man, I didn't tell him thank you enough for what he'd done for me. And so for me, that's kind of what I took away from it is, hey, there's people in my life that are sacrificing and serving me so that I can be successful. And I need to be appreciative of that and acknowledge that, not just thinking it, but actually saying it and telling people thank you. And so it really changed my attitude of really having an attitude of gratitude and of telling people thank you as much as I possibly can. Because I feel like I missed out on that with my dad, just the opportunity to tell him how much I appreciated all that he had done. I'm sure, when parents die young, you just don't think about that early enough, right? A lot of times you don't think about it early enough. And so it was a tough moment for me as well. I'm sure it was for you.
Yeah, you do. You think about them every day, and it's like you said, you appreciate the people, and you stop sweating the small stuff. You learn what matters in life, and one of the things she told me before she passed: don't sweat the small stuff. I know we sweated the small stuff together, but in this time period, you got to learn that you need to stop sweating the small stuff and appreciate everybody. And I tell people I love them as much as I can. I don't leave them without letting them know I love them.
And I try to teach my kids that too. Like, hey, thank your mom, because when you actually do appreciate it, she might not be around to say thank you. So thank her now for what she's doing. Right. Thank your grandparents for what they're doing. Because when you recognize what they did, they might not be around for you to say thank you. And that's, it's tough, right? It's just kind of part of life. But hey, listen, we're at 30 minutes. I told you this was going to fly by. We're running right up on time. It goes really, really fast. It has been a pleasure to get to know you. And I got to see you at Wrigley Field at the Cubs game that Lean had their Lean experience a couple of weeks ago at Wrigley Field. My first Wrigley Field game, but it sounds like you told me earlier, I've got to go and sit in the bleachers to really get the full Wrigley experience.
That's right. So we're going to get you down there closer to the field, man, so you can hear the screaming and yelling and all.
I want to catch a home run ball right by the net there.
There you go.
Just be a part of the party, but I don't want it to be midsummer because that's going to be hot, man. That's going to be. I don't know if I want to go midsummer or not, but maybe I should. Maybe that's when it's most fun.
Yeah, it is. Summertime shot. You can't beat it, man. You got to get out here.
Yeah. Well,
I
Michael
really
Meyers,
appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate what you're doing in our industry and helping companies in Chicago. There's so many great companies up there that you can work with. And I hope someone will reach out to you after watching this episode. And I hope you'll come back and see us sometime soon. It'd be great to have you back on the show.
Yeah, please have me back, Trey. I just want to give a quick shout out to some of these companies that we talked about before: Load Smart, Bring, Project 44, Ship Bob, Uptake, Uber Freight. Love you guys. Load Smart, Four Kites. Who am I forgetting? Valkyrie, Edge, Echo. Talk to everybody.
There's a lot
soon.
of them up there. Yep. There's a lot of great companies up there. There's no doubt about it. Metaphora, one of our partners up there, which used to be Carrier Direct. So many good companies are up there, which is awesome. All right, everybody. Hey, listen, make sure you come back tomorrow for episode 76 of Standing Out, when I got my good friend Shannon Breen from Freightvana on the show. You're going to love Shannon if you haven't heard him before. We're going to talk all about servant leadership and what they're building over there at Freightvana, the culture of coaching and leading a team of all-stars. It's going to be exciting. So make sure you come back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Central for that episode. And every day, we're going to have some great episodes the rest of the week. And have a wonderful afternoon out there. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Everybody take care. Thanks, Michael. We'll see you.